Good evening, and welcome to the Modern Agora, your platform for dissecting the critical questions shaping our society. Tonight, we delve into a topic that sparks passionate debate across generations. Should the minimum voting age be lowered to 16? This isn't merely an academic question. It touches upon the very essence of democratic participation and the future of our political landscape, especially relevant as youth voices grow stronger. To help us navigate this, we welcome Liam Chen, a dynamic 17-year-old student activist arguing for the change, and Dr. Elena Santos, a distinguished political scientist and university lecturer who will argue against it. Our debate will feature opening statements, rebuttals, a cross-examination period, and closing arguments. We anticipate a robust and enlightening discussion, grounded in evidence and mutual respect. Liam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Isabel. Lowering the voting age to 16 is a matter of fundamental fairness, enhancing civic engagement, and ensuring our democracy truly represents the concerns of all, especially its youth. At 16, individuals can work, pay taxes, and in many places, drive or make medical decisions. To deny them the vote while they shoulder these responsibilities is unjust. It's taxation without representation. This principle is a cornerstone of democratic legitimacy. If 16-year-olds contribute to the economy and are subject to the law, they deserve a say in how their country is run. Secondly, enfranchising 16-year-olds can cultivate lifelong civic participation. Introducing voting when young people are often still in education allows for civic learning to be immediately applied. This contrasts with the current system, where many first-time voters are navigating new adult responsibilities and may be less connected to civic structures. Young people are deeply concerned about issues like climate change, education quality, and social justice, issues that will define their futures. They are often highly informed and motivated. Their passion and fresh perspectives can invigorate political discourse and hold elected officials more accountable to long-term societal well-being. Thirdly, this change leads to better representation. Policies on youth employment, mental health services, and environmental action directly affect young citizens, yet their voices are currently indirect. Granting them the vote would compel political systems to be more responsive to their needs, creating policies that better reflect a more inclusive demographic. Examples from countries like Austria and Scotland demonstrate this isn't a leap into the unknown. Evidence shows 16 and 17-year-olds participate responsibly, often with impressive turnout rates. These young voters have shown themselves to be as capable as older first-time voters. Their inclusion has enriched, not undermined, democratic processes in those nations. Lowering the voting age acknowledges the capabilities of young people, aligns rights with responsibilities, and strengthens our democracy by making it more inclusive and forward-looking. It's time we trust and empower them.
Thank you, Isabel. While I admire Liam's commitment, I approach the proposal to lower the voting age to 16 with considerable caution, based on developmental science and the nature of electoral responsibility. My primary argument concerns cognitive maturity. The prefrontal cortex, vital for reasoned decision-making, impulse control, and long-term consequence analysis, is still developing significantly during adolescence, often until the early 20s. This developmental stage can mean that 16-year-olds, on average, may be more prone to emotionally driven choices, or may not fully weigh the complex long-term impacts of political decisions. Secondly, there's the aspect of political knowledge and life experience. A comprehensive understanding of intricate political systems, economic policies, and historical contexts generally accumulates over time. While many 16-year-olds are passionate about certain issues, their overall grasp of the broader political landscape and the machinery of government is typically less developed than that of older individuals. Their life experience, predominantly centered on education and family, provides a narrower frame of reference for the diverse considerations a voter must balance. Thirdly, younger individuals can exhibit greater susceptibility to external influences. While no one is immune, those whose identities and worldviews are still solidifying might be more easily swayed by populist appeals, social media trends, or peer and parental opinions, rather than independent critical analysis. The capacity for robust, independent political judgment is crucial for voting, and this is a skill that generally strengthens with age and experience. Liam mentioned responsibilities like taxation. However, paying taxes is often an automatic process, and working involves tasks usually under guidance. Voting is an autonomous act of profound societal consequence. It requires a level of informed, independent judgment that research suggests is not consistently present at 16 across the population cohort. We must ensure the electorate is adequately prepared for this duty. Therefore, while fostering youth engagement through other means is essential, maintaining the voting age at 18 provides a more suitable threshold, aligning with broader legal markers of adulthood, and allowing for greater overall preparedness.
Dr. Santos, I acknowledge your points, but I believe they don't fully capture the capabilities of 16-year-olds, or the inconsistencies in how we currently define voting readiness. On cognitive maturity, if we use incomplete brain development as a reason to deny 16-year-olds the vote, we must acknowledge that many adults also make choices that aren't perfectly rational. We don't bar them from voting. The standard for voting isn't flawless judgment, but the capacity for reasoned choice, which 16-year-olds possess, especially when supported by good civic education. Regarding political knowledge, young people often demonstrate profound understanding of issues directly affecting them, like climate action or educational reform. Their focused knowledge can be as valuable as broader, sometimes disengaged, adult knowledge. Access to information is widespread. Motivation to learn about issues that shape one's future is a powerful driver for acquiring necessary political literacy. As for susceptibility to influence, this is a universal human trait, not unique to teenagers. Adults are swayed by media narratives, advertising, and their social circles daily. The solution isn't disenfranchisement, but robust education in critical thinking and media literacy for all ages, starting young. We shouldn't underestimate the ability of 16-year-olds to think critically. Many arguments against lowering the voting age rest on generalizations. If we truly value fairness and want to encourage lifelong civic engagement, we should trust 16-year-olds with the vote and provide them with the educational tools to use it wisely.
Liam, your points about the imperfections in the adult electorate are noted. However, setting a minimum age requires us to consider general developmental stages and societal norms for readiness for such a crucial civic duty. While some adults may lack full political knowledge, the age of 18 is a widely recognized legal threshold for adulthood, carrying a bundle of rights and responsibilities, including voting. This age generally correlates with completed secondary education and greater independence. You speak of focused knowledge on specific issues, and that's valuable. However, voting often requires balancing competing interests and understanding broader economic and social trade-offs, a capacity that typically benefits from more extensive life experience. Early civic engagement is indeed positive, but it doesn't automatically equate to readiness for the formal responsibility of voting. Alternative channels like youth councils or advocacy allow for development of political skills without the immediate weight of electoral choice. Civic education is vital, and I advocate for its enhancement. Yet, education alone cannot fast-track the neurological maturation essential for the consistent application of judgment and impulse control that responsible voting demands. This isn't about distrusting young people, but about acknowledging developmental realities. The goal is to set an age minimum where a sufficient proportion of the cohort is likely to possess the necessary attributes for informed voting. The risk of a less experienced, more easily influenced segment of the electorate impacting national outcomes is a serious consideration for the health of our democratic processes.
Thank you both. Let's explore some of these points further. Liam, if 16 is appropriate, why not 15? Where do you draw the line? And what's the specific rationale?
I advocate for 16 as it aligns with other markers of responsibility like working and paying taxes. It's a point where many are engaging seriously with societal issues within their education. While any line is somewhat arbitrary, 16 offers a balance between recognizing capability and maintaining a standard that society can broadly support. It's a practical starting point for expansion.
And how would you ensure 16-year-old students aren't unduly influenced by school curricula or teachers' personal views in their voting?
Through mandated, impartial civic education focusing on critical thinking, not specific ideologies, teachers must maintain neutrality, and students are exposed to many information sources beyond school, fostering independent thought.
Dr. Santos, many adults, even over 18, show gaps in political knowledge. Is 18 truly ensuring an informed electorate, or is it also somewhat arbitrary?
No age guarantees perfect knowledge. 18 is a societal marker for adulthood, generally coinciding with more life experience and independence than 16. It's about a reasonable average level of preparedness, not an assurance of universal expertise.
Could denying 16 and 17-year-olds the vote, especially on issues like climate change that directly impact them, foster disillusionment and later disengagement?
It's a risk we must mitigate. However, active participation through youth forums, advocacy, and ensuring their voices are heard by policymakers are crucial alternatives to premature enfranchisement. Engagement doesn't solely mean voting.
But Dr. Santos being, quote, listened to isn't the same as direct representation through the ballot. Those are supplementary, not replacements for the fundamental right to choose one's leaders.
And that right, Liam, comes with the responsibility of an informed choice considering all societal factors, a capacity more consistently developed by 18. It's about holistic judgment, not just passion on select issues.
What about the argument that early voting socializes young people into becoming lifelong voters? Is there a missed opportunity here, Dr. Santos?
Habits are important, but the quality of that first voting experience also matters. If it's based on insufficient understanding or undue influence, it may not foster positive long-term engagement. Readiness should precede the act.
In closing, this debate is fundamentally about trust and the vitality of our democracy. Lowering the voting age to 16 is a clear, logical step towards a more inclusive and representative political system. We've established that 16-year-olds are already shouldering significant responsibilities. They work, they pay taxes, and they are subject to the laws of the land. Denying them a voice in shaping those laws is a direct contradiction of core democratic principles like, quote, no taxation without representation. Enfranchising them at this formative stage, often while still in education, is a powerful way to cultivate lifelong habits of civic participation. It will bring fresh perspectives, youthful energy, and a greater focus on long-term issues like climate change and educational reform into our political discourse. The concerns raised about cognitive maturity or susceptibility to influence, while needing consideration, are often based on generalizations and underestimate the capacity of young people today, who are more informed and connected than ever before. Quality civic education can further enhance their preparedness. Many of the standards some wish to apply to 16-year-olds are not consistently applied to the adult electorate. It's time to move beyond these outdated notions and recognize that young people are not just the leaders of tomorrow, but active stakeholders today. Lowering the voting age to 16 is not a radical leap, but a sensible evolution of our democracy. It's an opportunity to empower a generation keen to participate, to make our political system more responsive, and to build a future that truly reflects the will of all its people. Let us embrace this opportunity.
In concluding, my arguments against lowering the voting age to 16 are rooted in a desire to protect the integrity and quality of democratic decision-making based on developmental considerations. The core issue remains that, on average, 16-year-olds have not yet reached the level of cognitive maturity, gained the breadth of life experience, or developed the consistent political independence that underpins truly informed voting. The brain's executive functions are still maturing, which can impact long-term planning and resistance to immediate emotional or social pressures when making choices with significant societal consequences. While 18 is not a perfect line, it better aligns with established legal adulthood and a generally greater capacity for the complex reasoning electoral choices demand. It represents a more robust societal consensus on readiness. Youth engagement is undeniably crucial. I strongly advocate for enhancing civic education and creating more meaningful avenues for young people under 18 to influence policy and express their views, short of formal enfranchisement. However, confusing these valuable forms of participation with the distinct act of voting could inadvertently lower the perceived importance of developmental readiness for casting a ballot. We must ensure voters are equipped for the responsibility. Rushing to lower the voting age without fully considering these developmental factors and potential impacts on electoral outcomes could be detrimental. Prudence dictates we uphold the current standard while vigorously promoting other forms of youth civic involvement.
Thank you, Liam Chen and Dr. Elena Santos, for this comprehensive and respectful debate. You've provided our audience with much to consider on this important issue. Liam argued for lowering the age based on fairness, engagement, and representation, while Dr. Santos urged caution, citing developmental maturity, experience, and the nature of informed voting. The question of when young citizens should gain the right to vote remains a complex one with passionate arguments on both sides. We hope this discussion encourages our viewers to delve deeper and form their own informed opinions. Thank you for joining the Modern Agora.